you guys, there's been a lot of conversation about Karras and his impact in Game 2. Just what did you see that was so different for him comparing Games 1 and Game 2?
I think, he was aggressive. His teammates did a great job of finding him. And then, when they found him, he made the right decision over and over again, whether it was catch and shoot, catch and go, slash to the basket, look for the score, or look for his teammates. So I just think he was, really, really aggressive. And, I think he played his role really, really well.
All of the guys have talked over the last couple of days just about coming into this environment, Mecca, playoffs. Is there something that you have done as a coach to try and prepare them for what they're stepping into tonight?
It's, again, it's conversations, but it's a similar thing to, all of this is you have to experience these things and go through them. At the end of the day, our message to our guys is no matter what, it's 5-on-5 basketball. And if you focus on the work that's in front of you, none of the other stuff that's outside the lines matters. They've played in loud places before. If you allow those things to be a distraction, they can impact you. But if you just go out and do the job that's in front of you, you'll be fine.
Zach Brazil in New York Post. Jerry, what do you think some of the issues were for you guys on the road, why you weren't as good as you were at home?
I think a lot of that started early. But if you go look at the back end of our season, I thought we were really good on the road as well. And again, I think, when you are a new group and you're trying to figure things out, things can be exasperated on the road when you don't have your home support, your fans in your favor, those guys, your crowd lifting you up. So, we were trying to figure some things out early on. But again, I think we've been better as of late.
What do you think you guys did better on the road as the year went on?
I think offensively, we understood, our roles. We understood, where shots were coming from. And I thought there were times early in the year where, we got away from our team and our system, and we just tried to will our way to make the play individually. I think now, because the trust is there, we continue to just do the right thing, and the right things tend to happen for us.
Kelsey Rose, The Athletic. J.B., yesterday you talked about how in Game 2, Donovan kind of stepped back a little bit, facilitated more so than Game 1. What is it that you saw in the film that required him to do so, and then the fact that he has the ability to kind of just on the fly adjust the way that the game requires?
I think he just made the right basketball play. You go back and watch the film, and, they decided to commit 2 to him a lot. And when they put 2 on him, he just moved the ball. And that's the simplest way to play the game is just throw the ball to the open man. When you give these guys at this level the opportunity to play advantage basketball, if you're playing 4-on-3 or 3-on-2, guys are typically going to make the right play if they just throw it again to the open man. So I think that's what it was more his understanding of their defense, but the trust in his teammates that, he didn't feel like he had to do it on his own.
Joe G. Kazakam, Coach Barrett and Quickly, 11 for 28 combined in the series. What's worked for you guys against them?
And I think we made everything difficult for them. I think our guys have done a really good job of, studying and watching the film on their personnel, understanding their strengths and what they're looking for. And I think we've kind of taken them, out of playing to their strengths. And, guys have accepted individual challenges, but also, our big guys are always there to protect them. And very rarely do you see guys in one-on-one situations. A lot of times you're playing 1 versus 2. And I think that's been an advantage for us.
J.B. John Fanta, Fox Sports. The way that you physically imposed your will in Game 2, what's the biggest piece of that you need to translate here tonight?
All of it. Especially you take a look at what happened on the boards from the first game to the second game. And we have to continue, to try to win that, that game within the game. And the only way you do that against a team is you have to be more physical than they are. And you have to be early. With this team, with the length that they have, if you're late, they can use their size and just go over the top of you. So you got to hit early.
Hey, Coach, Brian Mahoney, Associated Press. When you said before, you guys have played a lot of places before. Have you seen where guys overthink it sometimes? Like, oh, my God, I'm going to the Garden. I'm going to whatever it's called nowadays, and it's no different than whatever Cleveland is during Hair Day, whatever like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I think if you allow the outside noise to overflow onto the floor, you can overthink it, right? It is a special place. I would imagine, and just going back in time for some of our younger guys who haven't seen or watched film of the teams here that were championship caliber teams, deep run in the playoff teams. They may not even have seen those guys play. So for them, you hope that this is just another night with another loud crowd.
David Aldridge, The Athletic. Along those lines, do you remember the first time you walked in here?
I mean, that was a long time ago. I mean, the first time I came in here, as a coach and a part of the NBA, was with the Charlotte Bobcats, in our expansion year. So that's the first time as a part of the NBA, so to speak. Yeah.
And over the years, when you come onto the court, does it feel different than other places?
It does. For me, and just how I was brought up with the level of respect that we were made to have for those people who came before us and for the game itself. This is a different place. It is a historical place, and you do have to pay respect to it. But it is part of the bright lights, New York City, all those things, can impact you if you allow them to. But the most important thing is you got to remember, you're here to play a game and focus on whatever your job is and whatever the team needs you to do.
Ian Begley, SNY. Coach, I'm sorry if this was covered already, but is Isaac going to start tonight?
I don't know.
Still TBD?
Still, yeah, I don't know.
JB, understanding fully that matchup numbers can be noisy and wonky, throughout the course of the regular season, Karras did not have the success that he's had against Brunson in the first two games. So, what was it that you saw within Karras that made you to believe, even though he struggled at times in the regular season against him, that was a matchup that he could handle?
I mean, just his willingness to do whatever we've asked him to do. He gets after it. When you watch him defend guys, he's always harassing people. He's always bothersome. And I think also, you give credit to his teammates as well. Like we said before, this, playoffs, I think more so in game two, it hasn't been a one-on-one battle. And that's the way our defense is set up is, we can't leave guys out on an island. We have to trust and protect one another, and I think that's helped as well.
On the subject of Isaac, just playoffs generally, obviously they're going to be guys that teams are going to kind of dare someone to prove that they can knock down a shot. He obviously had the quick fouls in the last game, but how much pressure, if you can really speak to it, when you talk about the guard, when you talk about the playoffs in general, is there for someone in a role like that where you might only get a couple shots, but you also have to shoot them if they're presented to you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to play with confidence and belief. If you don't, you're doing your team a detriment. And, one of the things that we've learned growing up in the game is the most unselfish thing you can do is shoot an open shot because it's probably the best shot you're going to get, in a 24-second situation. So you got to have confidence to take your shot, but you also got to play to your strength. If the team needs you because of the way they're guarding you to drive and go attack and make a next play, you got to go do that. But Isaac in particular, there's so many small things that he does that help our team. There's so many scrap plays, so many one-on-one stops that he creates, just plays that he's disruptive and blows up things that, you give him an opportunity because he's earned it. Thank you.